Hi, welcome back. We are on episode 56, and this is getting a little heated here, isn't it?
It is definitely getting
Yes.
heated. Yeah.
Okay. So take us through that, please.
Well, would you like to say something about the Akashic memories?
Right. I mean, I think it's hard to understand what we're doing here unless you go to the very beginning.
Yeah. Episode number one.
If you just kind of go in between, it might not make a lot of sense to you, but I mean, you do what you need to do, but we really encourage you to start from the beginning. And also, if you want to explain the Akashic records, memories of where this information came from.
Yeah, this information is coming from a place in the universe called the Akashic Memories. And basically, it's a recording about everything that happened. And it records, the vision, it records the audio, but it also records the feelings, the thoughts, the smells.
Is this a little different than the Akashic records? Because what he's doing is...
No, it's the same thing. Akashic records, Akashic memories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he can feel or see a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Well, because he has the capability
He does. So like when you go to somebody who can read Akashic records, they might not have the same ability.
They may not have the same ability.
That's why I was thinking it's a little bit different.
Right.
Than somebody reading your records.
Here in this case, the author, Daniel Meroy, is allowed to go through the Akashic memories of Yeshua.
Okay.
Yeah. Not everybody can do that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it takes a lot.
It takes a few. You have to show carte blanche.
Yeah, you do. You got to pass a few tests.
Right. So in the previous episode, we saw a big gathering of the 108 disciples, and Yeshua having a communication to them. And we also heard an important dialogue between Judah and Yeshua. Okay, right. So we're going to continue. So Yeshua and his group are spending a few more days in a kind of a gloomy state, because everybody realized that something is going on.
They're feeling something, right?
Yeah. So, and Yeshua during that time is not so much teaching in the streets or healing, he's praying as much as possible. And one evening, Yeshua is invited to meet Ponthius Pilate. So this is again an event which has never been recorded, never talked about, because it's totally secret and very private.
Right.
Okay. So in the home of a friend, so Eleazar, John, and they had arranged a meeting with a certain Roman called Massalia, and that Massalia had one eye healed by Yeshua in the past. So he felt like he owed them to help them somehow.
Right.
And the meeting was taking place in the home of an affluent Roman. We don't know who it is, but I guess it doesn't matter. And nobody knows about it, okay? It's completely, it has never been reported. So Yeshua penetrates that home, he enters that home, and he hears a voice in the dark room inviting him to sit down. And Yeshua recognized Ponthius Pilate with his fat mouth. He has a fibula, a brooch, representing an eagle and a vine, and finally a very large gold ring.
What do you mean by fat mouth? What do you mean by that?
Well, I guess that's how Yeshua describes him, So I was looking on the web to find, there are a few statues and sculpting of Ponthius Pilate, but they never show what Yeshua is describing.
Okay.
So fat mouth is probably because he had, big lips and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
He's probably used to eating very well, and Anyway. So he's also wearing that large gold ring on his index, And so Ponthius, sits slowly, not far from Yeshua. They are not facing each other. They're actually next to each other, not facing each other. And he seems very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And he says to Yeshua, "It is to answer my wife's request, Claudia Procula," right? We know her under the name of Procla.
It just goes to show what influence women have on their husbands.
Exactly. That I think, that I accepted to meet you here since we still have some time. before things get really bad.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yes, I feel that Tiberius, the emperor at that time, or his advisors, are not appreciative of your presence in Jerusalem. Your influence, you understand? And Yeshua responds, I do not understand that word, the way you used it, but I'm not surprised. What could be surprising is that you desire to warn me. And it's probably a wife, behind him. And Pontius said, why do you say could be? And Yeshua responds, because I'm not really surprised. You're here in a place where you do not want to be. I have known it since the beginning. We are linked, my brother. And Pontius Pilate does not appreciate that response. He's irritated. He's still uncomfortable.
He doesn't understand it.
And with a trembling voice, he said, I'm not your brother. So Yeshua responds, we all are, whether you want it or not. And at that point, the procurator clears his throat to avoid answering the remark, and he continues. Yes, I wanted to warn you because what can I reproach you? Some are saying that you are dangerous, but I do not see how or why. And Claudia, my wife, she tells me so many things about you. I do not know what is that God that you are talking about. However, that God seems rather just and fair to me. And all these healings, are they true? And Yeshua responds to Pilate, saying, why don't you try to verify them by yourself?
Don't ask me.
Yeah, I have nothing to prove or God to defend, because there is only one. Everything is happening in a simple way because nothing can stop it. And Pontius says, why? Because I do not do all the things I want here.
It's interesting when the narrative changes and they don't like what it is, how it's like you're the bad person.
Yes.
And
Pontius continues, because there are things that are said and decided behind my back. Rome does not like you, Rabbi. You have been warned. Rome does not like you because it is convinced that you can transform and blaze the entire Judea. Rome prefers to deal with the Iscaris or the Zealots than with you and your people.
Because they can control that, right?
Yeah.
Control the narrative.
I have been told that you do not want to be the leader of this country, and I believe it. But the people, they want it every day more. And what you did at the temple, the Sanhedrin will never forgive you.
Oh, yeah, the money. Yeah.
Between you and Caesar, the Sanhedrin prefers Caesar because he let them do what they want. I received orders, Rabbi. Do you understand? And a lot of suggestion from all sides. Thus, I'm taking some big risks meeting you here. Are you sure that the person with you in that corner can be trusted? And so Pontius points to Eleazar, the first disciple of. And Yeshua responds, if it was not the case, why would he be there? He's my brother. And Pontius says, like me? And Yeshua smiles, It's kind of a little hint of humor. Yes, like you, Pontius. Otherwise, why would you take the risk that you are talking about? And so the conversation between the two men is going to stop there. And in a summary, Pilate wants Yeshua to leave Jerusalem immediately. He is extremely disturbed by what he knows, and he does not like the position and stance he has to take. So a few times he's mentioning to Yeshua the Sanhedrin, the Caiapha and Hanan, who is the father of the Caiapha, the supreme chief of the temple, who, according to Pontius, have sent a letter to Rome with a complete report about Yeshua to Tiberius and the other members of the executive branch in Rome.
I'm sorry. I keep thinking about the parallel of our world today, and how things are being censored, and
Yes.
we don't like what you're saying, and
Yeah. And so again, we have to notice that Hanan, the supreme chief, has an official position with Rome and is collaborating with the Romans. Okay? So he's absolutely part of the stuff. And Yeshua is thinking about it, He's saying, okay, leave Jerusalem, return to Galilee. He's wondering a long time about that option after saluting Pilate and walking back to his place. So he's concerned about the lives of all the men and women who are following him. But he's also aware that he has with them, a tree. It's like a tree carrying a lot of fruits. And none of these fruits are his property. Those
everybody can
disciples,
do whatever they want.
exactly.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. Yeah. So quickly, the discussion he had with his mother, and that we saw in the former episode, in the previous episode, come back to his mind. And he remembers hearing his mother, Miriam, saying, everything you would renounce would follow us endlessly, and you would be ugly forever. And Miriam was so right about these words, And very discreetly, Yeshua decides to visit his uncle Yusuf. And after the exchange with the procurator, it was obvious that something was being prepared. Yeah? Something is brewing.
Something is brewing.
And it's more than brewing, at that point. And on that evening, Yeshua decides suddenly to gather about 20 of his disciples for a last supper and communicate to them the dangers that they were all risking. Okay? So he wanted the group to be small so that a real conversation could be had, and it was also too late to gather everybody because it's kind of late in the evening. And so some of the people who attended that so-called Last Supper are Miriam, his mother, of course, Yusuf, his uncle, as well as Nicodemus, who is a member of the Sanhedrin. Eleazar, his first disciple, will also be there, as well as Judah. Levi and Jacob are there too, and they are in charge of the oil lamps, while Marcus and Miriam, his wife, are taking care of the flatbread and the oil and the spices, the food. And Uncle Yusuf pulls out of his bag 3 to 4 small bottles of wine, coming from his vineyards. And there was also Peter and a couple of other people as well. So about 20 disciples total. So Yeshua relates to the group the real dangers lurking in Jerusalem and the threat from the Sanhedrin. However, he never mentioned his meeting with Pilate. Okay, so this is absolutely secret. And
well, Pilate could be in a lot of trouble.
Exactly. Exactly. So Judah and Peter are asking, how do you know all that, Master? So they sense that something.
Wait a minute.
And because Yeshua does not want to mention his meeting with Pilate, in order to protect him, in case the information would be leaked.
Yeah.
And we know that everything was being leaked at that time,
Nobody could keep a secret back then.
No. And he responds, I know it, my friends. This is all I can tell you. The turmoil of Easter is hiding another crisis. I have done everything I could to move things, and your large number has amplified my words and my actions, right? The zealots are impatient. The priests are silently mad and upset. And the Romans are preparing a strategy without knowing what to think or what to do. The people of this country is looking for its Messiah, and like all the people of this world, they look like these winds and gusts, blowing capriciously. They can go one way one day, and the other day they go the other way.
No commitment.
Right, exactly. So the real problem, can you see, is the attachment to the customs, to the blindness, the wandering and the suffering. The problem is the man against the man, that part of shadow that he likes so much, and that deals against itself in an endless round, causing its rebirth. So Yeshua, he is referring to the karmic, the law of karma, that basically forces us to come back to this planet, over and over. So at that point, Yeshua invites the group to pray. And after that, some members of the group are talking about mundane events and news of the day. And Yeshua decides to shake them. He says, "Is that all your art is made of? Don't you have anything else to tell me tonight?" And Peter, feeling the exasperation of Yeshua in a certain way, managed to summarize the situation. And he expressed the confusion in which all the disciples are. It was very direct, and Yeshua is grateful for that. He likes the honesty. And Yeshua can feel that they were all near a point of cosmic convergence, which is cyclically changing everything. I guess we are into one of those
We are definitely into one of those right now.
Point, yeah.
No doubt.
And according to Yeshua, it was the entire human family that was struggling against its own resistance to move out of the old world to the next one. So opening up, pushing back the limits that are numbing us to comfort us, identifying the rotten parts in us. All this never gives you an immediate feeling of fresh air, right?
We definitely could feel that today.
Yeah. Patience and will are always required. Yeah. So he addresses his disciple and he goes, "Will you be patient and willing, obstinate in your love? It is what I'm asking you to get out of the cesspool of the law of the blood. That law that forces all humans to go round and around, forgetting the sublime essence of life and degrading the earth." The degradation is, all these animals being slaughtered and massacred. Yeah.
And people.
And the people too, yeah. And so
still today,
the ground has to soak all this stuff, yeah. So he continues, "Do not limit your love to those who loves you. Love the people that are in the chaos. Finally, love in the same way I love you and will always love you. Get out of your memories, find your true memory, and teach that necessity to be, because I am repeating it. Very soon, I will have to disappear."
Wow.
So at that point, Yeshua grabs a flatbread.
A lot of big teachings and all that. Right?
Yes, very, very profound, yeah. So he grabs a flatbread, he blows on it all the light of Hawun, God, before breaking it and distributing the pieces. And he goes, "My friends, eat that bread and drink that wine as if they were my flesh and my blood. And what I mean to say, as if they were my essence, the light that lives inside it and through which all marvels can happen." So I guess this is, one of the fundamental rituals of the Catholic,
sacrament, right?
The Catholic Church. Yeah. And he continues, "As if they were the point of junction between the sky and the earth. Oh, understand me. I'm not speaking of a simple symbol, but of that infinite love that all pure heart can invite to come down into the matter of this world, to entice it to become a yeast. This love is a bubbling joy, and it is so contagious."
I used to, because I was raised Catholic, and I would take the bread of Christ, but I don't think I took it in this sense, right? We weren't taught it this way, where you're actually really taking that in, like to really know that you're taking that into you, that essence of Christ inside of you.
Exactly, yeah. So soon, I'm telling you, it will be up to you to recreate all the gestures of such sharing in full coherence with what your body and spirit call for. Thus, if you're true, and only if you're true, the memory of my presence, the Christic energy that flows through me, will also flow through you. So Yeshua stops on these words, and he watches intensely in the dusk all these men and women gathered in circle around him. Some seem to be overwhelmed by the load that was asked of them. So again, I want to make a slight parenthesis, most of the time, the people have been programmed to believe that the Last Supper was this long table,
Right.
with all the people. So I guess this is just a vision of the artist, to depict and display all the participants. But this is not the way it took place. Yeah, and there were more than 12. And one of the disciples is very fidgety, and it is Judah. And Yeshua meets his eyes, and Judah goes, "Master, maybe it is too much for me. I don't think I am solid enough. I'm not sure what my willingness is made of. To be and to act as you are showing us? You speak of light, but how can I express it if on this planet there is no kingdom to accept it, not any throne to receive it?" And Yeshua responds to Judah. He says, "Do you believe that really? Do you believe that the light out of all the lights requires such a kingdom? There is not a throne made of stone which will not be shattered one day or the other. No, my brother, that light is everything. It embraces everything because its source is in the heart of the being. But go away from what you want to embrace, Judah, or do what you must do and manifest your own light and walk towards your destiny." So the reaction of Judah is causing some consternation within the group, and some are offended, whereas others are agreeing with Judah,
Yeah, if you're not feeling it, you
revealing
need to know,
their
right?
lack of strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they were honest and brave, and Yeshua thanked them for that, Again, he appreciated the sincerity and the honesty. And Yeshua could only bless them because he knew that what he was asking them was a tremendous load and responsibility, And what he was asking them was simply to convey his words without focusing on any power of this world. All the kingdoms of flesh and bones will always end up petrified, pulverized and broken, as long as a human will try to keep an abyss between him and God, as long as he will refuse to recognize himself as the son of God or the daughter of God or an extension of God. So we have to do that. There is no middleman.
No.
And at that point, Eleazar, asked Yeshua, "What does that man that you are talking about mean? Maybe we never understood it." And Yeshua responds, "Is your true horizon the only one which is not going to escape like all the other ones? And who, because of this, is frightening the race of humans? Is the divine that is calling you? Is that heart that you are destined to manifest? It is your inheritance." And Jacob asked also, "Master, how and where do you find the strength to teach us still while we can feel a great suffering coming?" So Yeshua responds, "It is not my strength per se, but the power that took roots inside me. Can you understand, my brother?" So he's referring to the Christic energy, living in his chest. And at that point, Judah has enough. He gets up and he comes close to Yeshua. And he whispers in his ears, "Forgive me, Master, but I have to find myself." And Yeshua perceives like a tear in the corner of Judah's eyes, And Judah was actually admitting so much distress at that point, And nobody in the group, including Yeshua, is making any comments about Judah's disappearance, They were all very sad for him. And Yeshua is offering a small group of disciples to go now to the hills of the olive trees, which is named Gethsemane. It's the garden, which is located on the side of Jerusalem, where a lot of olive trees have been planted. And the Roman guards are letting the little group get out of the city. They are used to see them often. And the night was,
here they come again.
Yeah, and the night was well advanced, so they didn't want to do any checking. So Yeshua at that point also insisted for Miriam, his wife, and Miriam, his mother, to not come, invoking the coldness of the night. Didn't want them to be a witness of what is going to happen. And once they reach the olive mill, the whole group starts praying spontaneously. And Yeshua wishes to pray isolated. And despite the request of Eleazar and his brother Tadeh, Yeshua is feeling what is to come. He knows intuitively what Judah was doing. Not to be a traitor, not to destroy whatever, but simply to get a meeting between Yeshua and the Roman authorities. So that's what Judah is trying to do.
Yeah.
He's not a traitor as has been painted by the scriptures, and the stories of the Bibles.
It's interesting how, there are no accidents. I mean, somebody is really driven to have to do something because there has to be this outcome.
Yeah.
Well, and whether he knew probably what he was doing was probably not the right thing, but he felt like he had to do it.
Right.
You know?
You're absolutely right.
And Yeshua knew that.
And both of them knew it.
I want to cry right now.
And
I feel so bad.
They have talked about it quite often, The reason why they are together in this lifetime is because Judah is going to do something that has a major impact.
Yeah. And look at, even today, people still worship Yeshua and all these religions and everything, and it's really because of this.
Yeah. So for Judah, again, Yeshua's participation with the higher levels of the government of Judea would be the warranty of a peace for the people and the rebel zealots.
Yeah.
He saw it, and this is a good thinking. It doesn't. There is nothing negative or wrong about it.
Right.
But again, Judah didn't know that Yeshua had already met Ponthius Pilate.
Met him, and that there were other things already in the works, right? That he had no control over.
And for the Sanhedrin, they were not so numerous, there were only 72 people. And with Yusuf and Nicodemus inside their group, a truce may be possible, And so Yeshua thinks about how things could have been different if Judah had known that the meeting with Ponthius Pilate had already taken place, But Yeshua has decided not to say anything about it. And behind him, the consciousness of Sananda, which is his cosmic name, and finally the plan, the intelligence of the plan was pushing him to act in this direction. So at that moment, Yeshua understands with an extreme intensity what his request to stay a man, despite his union with the divine, could mean, It could mean the certainty to suffer in his flesh and his soul. And that's not something, you embrace easily.
It's not an easy thing.
So Yeshua is going to lay down on the ground, face on the dirt, holding with his hands a strong root of an olive tree. And that root was for Yeshua like an anchor, while his mind was bobbing on a tumultuous ocean. And he realized that the living behind the vibration of God wanted to push him even further. So up to where? His mind shut down any scenario. But he suddenly realized with a lot of lucidity that his flesh, his body, and the Christic energy are for the first time fighting against each other.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So the Christic energy is pushing him to do, to move forward and to do certain things. But his body, his flesh, and his mind are saying, okay, hold on. This is the,
Well, it's a little scary, It's a little difficult. Not a little. It's really difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult, And so he's thinking, that's it. What we know of the divine plots with evil to beat us not to death, but to a regeneration. This is exactly at that point that the divine meets the evil, the adversary that speaks two tones. And this is where they merge to reveal the infinite. So this is all very cryptic. But So Yeshua at one point, thinks about Elohim, the extraterrestrial entity or group of entities which are helping him and which are mostly making sure that the plan is being unrolled as planned.
Well, it's the timing for everything, right?
Exactly, And he had not had any contact with Elohim for more than a year. and even wonders if perhaps he did not pay enough attention to Elohim, He had been impregnated so much with the spirit of life that perhaps a certain pride made him think that Elohim helps was no longer necessary.
No.
Yeah, you never know. So he analyzes that feeling, but no answer comes, and it leaves him in a weak and painful position, And he wonders, where is Judah? What is he doing,
Yeah.
And Yeshua feels his body becoming cold and shivering a little bit. And it's not because of the freshness of the night. And through some kind of fog, he sees Judah at the same time proud but afraid. His words are hesitant, which is unlike Judah because he's always very assertive, And his attitude is unsure of himself. So he's not in a good position. And as far as the place where Judah is, Yeshua cannot see it. It's blurry.
Oh.
So he's not given all the pieces to understand what's going on.
Yeah. He's used to having.
Yeah. And so Yeshua is pushed by a force to communicate with Judah and to speak to his soul. And he says to Judah, or to the soul of Judah, "Why hesitate, my brother? This is eating you up, and it is time. What would my life be worth without your decision?"
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's huge.
And he continues, "Is it a treason or a necessity to move forward that I'm waiting from you?" And that was all. At that point, Yeshua regained his consciousness. His hands are still holding the large root of the olive tree. His body is aching everywhere as much as his soul. And now Yeshua knows what will happen and how far he will go. He understands, and he wonders, a necessity or an absurdity?
Yeah, it's really an absurdity. Really.
And he realized that sooner or later guards are going to come. Yeshua was convinced about it, and he sees the presence of Judah walking in front of the centurion, and everything would collapse because the dream of Judah was no longer there. Yeah. So Yeshua again resumed his prayers, talking to Harun as if he was in front of him and not as if Harun was inside him. So there is now, I think this is showing his weakness at that point,
Right.
Or the lack of confidence or uncertainty about what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he says to his father, "What are you waiting from me, Father? Where is the end of my surrender? Did I go wrong on the path that you inspired me? Give me the strength to not fall." And strangely, it feels for Yeshua as if he's listening from outside, and the Christic energy is responding to him. And that energy says, "Why do you say, 'Give me the strength'? It is up to you to find it. The force to be is not to be begged. It is woven from inside. Do not fight. Stand up. What I'm giving you is my love. And in truth, this is all that you need."
It's trusting, right?
Yeah.
Trusting in that surrender.
So it is a long time passes, and Yeshua does not know exactly how long that state lasted, but it seemed an eternity between the fever of his soul, and the coldness of his body. And this, again, a parenthesis, the scriptures are telling that those who followed Yeshua that night fell asleep while he was praying. It is not correct. This is all bogus again, Marcus, the son of Miriam, came to ask Yeshua to offer him his coat. Marcus was watching Yeshua from a distance and saw him shivering and struggling and suffering. And all the other disciples that follow him remained very vigilant, as they were all worried about the situation and the profound meanings of his last words. So again, another story from the scribes of the Bible. So at one point, the moon is occulted by a cloud, and Yeshua raises his head. He looks for the stars, but he cannot find it. There's some A lot of ominous
Mm-hmm.
things, yeah. And at one point, he hears steps and metallic noises can be heard below, and he hears a raucous voice, where is your master, the rabbi? And the Romans are actually asking Eleazar and the other disciples,
Mm.
And hearing that, Yeshua walks down toward the group, and says to the centurion, leave them alone, I am here. And the centurion says, if it is you, Yeshua, then follow us. Tiberius orders.
Oh boy.
So the centurion is asking two Romans to get closer to Yeshua with shackles and chains in their hands, And at that point, Peter screams, do not touch the master. Leave him. And Peter, Andrew, and Bartholomew, the three big guys, the fishermen, they are starting to push the soldier aside, and Yeshua noticed some blades being pulled out of their sheaths, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Uncle Yusuf, tries to calm the group, and he goes, come on, can't you see this is a mistake? I am Yusuf da Ramathian. I sit with the Sanhedrin. Do not touch the rabbi. I can vouch for him. Mm-hmm. And the fight stops at that point, Everybody is watching each other. So, and Yeshua says, my uncle, let what must take place. Judah is probably right. It is time that I express myself in front of those who govern this country. Mm-hmm. And one of the soldiers quickly shackles Yeshua's wrist, That's how you talk with other people, right?
Right.
And Peter screams again, contained by a Roman sword, So
couldn't do much. Yeah.
And at that point, Yeshua is surprised by the weight of the shackles, while the Romans tell him to move and to follow them. And he's not convinced that they should follow them and walk with them, Uh-huh. And he wanted also everybody to understand that he was coming of his own free will.
Right. You don't have to shackle me.
Yeah.
I'll go.
And at that moment, the shackles are falling from his wrist on the ground.
I bet they love that.
So the centurion is really upset, and he asks another soldier to shackle him, And again, another soldier tries, no luck. The shackles are falling on the ground again. So Levi and Peter and probably a couple of others are laughing discreetly,
Mm-hmm.
seeing that. And Yeshua at that point hears quick step in the darkness, and somebody is screaming, no, it was not supposed to be like that. No, it was Judah. Judah was horrified by what the soldiers were doing. And just to add insult to injury, the centurion pushes Judah away and says, nobody called you.
Oh.
And Peter again vociferates, Judah! And he wants to insult him,
Yeah, like, what did you do? Yeah.
And Peter, Andrew, and Bartholomew are trying to grab Judah, but the Romans are putting all their swords and calming the group, And Judah is so overwhelmed, so distressed that he escapes in the darkness. And at that point, only Marcus remains a little bit, while before escaping, Yusuf and Eleazar are trying to control their emotions, and they are among the last one to flee also the group. And Yeshua actually like it better like that. Mm-hmm. He preferred that nobody is witnessing what is going to happen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And another parenthesis that we wanted to do here for our audience is that the famous kiss given by Judah to identify Yeshua to the soldier never took place. Okay. Mm-hmm. Again, this is another story which was invented by the scribes of the Bible.
Well, it sounds a little better, right?
Yeah, right.
Get the story.
We know that Yeshua offered himself to the Romans, right? Mm-hmm. He said he was the rabbi. And another story, Judah never received any money to sell Yeshua to the Romans. Okay, this is another invention to portray and paint Judah as a traitor, right? Right. Yeah, because in the teaching
they need to have a bad person,
a good guy and a bad guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Judah, in fact, had been the pawn of his own dreams. I mean, his dream was legit,
right. He really wanted to
He
help.
really wanted to help and do
He
something,
just-
but it didn't work.
He didn't realize what his real purpose was.
Well, he didn't realize that the Romans are not negotiating.
Right.
You know.
Well, because there was other people in the background.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so Yeshua is leaving Gethsemane, and he knows that he will not come back to that beautiful garden, you know. And so he smells the fragrance of the olive trees one last time, you know, taking a piece of the heart of Gethsemane to feed his own heart. Yeah. And walking with free hands, Yeshua walks surrounded by a dozen of Roman soldiers, you know. They cross the bridge above the Cedron River, and they enter the city by the closest gate to the Antonia fortress. And they do a quick stop. You know, the Romans are signaling that their culprit, you know, had been arrested. Everything is under control.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeshua is wondering, you know, where they are going. But obviously, there is one unique answer. It's the Sanhedrin next to the temple. And revisiting these moments, you know, Yeshua is wondering what could have been different. Could he have done otherwise or better? And a very deep sadness is inside him. The disappointment to see the world stomps one more time in the same mud hole. You know, nothing changes. In parallel to all that, there was also the sensation to have reached a sacred renunciation that meant finally, yes, finally, something is happening, you know. It was a thought which, despite the primal fears of the suffering flesh, also had the taste of a surprising liberation.
Relief, right?
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
going to be done.
Right.
Let's just get
Yeah.
it done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's
so
not.
In the next episode, we will go through the trial, the judgment of Yeshua by the Sanhedrin. So we will attend that and we'll relate all the details.
It won't be just him. I'll do a part of the next one. I'll be a part of it, a little bit of it, but I can't.
The second part is
It's gonna be really hard, and it just.
Yeah.
I'd rather not go through it.
So the next few episodes, I will basically tell them myself. She will not be attending. And
sorry, yeah.
We'll probably do it in a way with pictures. I don't think I want the camera to film me while I do that.
You probably need a lot of tissues and
yeah, because it's.
it's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. And again, I want to remind the audience that what we are relating is the feeling and the thoughts of Yeshua. It's not seen as an outside
it's
witness.
Actually what
it is. What is he's feeling and what he's going.
I think that's what makes it even more difficult.
Yes. Yeah.
So for me, I know for you too, but definitely.
That's why we will switch to the I. You know, I do. I feel. Instead of relating.
Right. So you get the real feel of what he was feeling.
Yeah, what he went through. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time. Please like and subscribe.